So, Mamie, would you like to introduce our next guest?
Yeah, absolutely. Gary C. Laney teaches that a leader's true legacy is measured by the success of those they've influenced. That it's not just about hitting goals, but about building people, empowering them, guiding them with integrity, and creating momentum that lasts long after you're gone. Gary understands what it takes to lead with purpose, and more importantly, how to help others do the same. Join me in welcome a thought leader, author, and advocate for building lasting influence, Gary C. Laney.
Wilton, you're not going to give Gary some clapping?
He's got it. He's got it.
I mean, that hesitation bothered me a little. So, Gary, my friend, thank you so much, buddy. I really do appreciate you doing this. For those of you that are watching live on social media, I am holding up Gary's books. They are phenomenal. If you see all of these papers, that means I read the book and I really liked it. Gary has been on the show before. Gary, my friend, thank you so much. This is a special edition of Local Biz Now, where it is a 2-hour commercial-free time where I get to handpick people that absolutely mean something special to me, my friend. And this year, you're one of them. Thank you so much for doing this. Hey, I think you got mute on the computer. Okay. Are you there?
How about now?
There, got you. You got it. You got it.
Okay, sorry, I'm trying to learn your system, but hey, thank you, Joe. It's so great to be back with you again. Honored to be on your show, especially this edition of the business kind of conference thing. So thank you.
So, Mamie introduced you. She is the editor-in-chief of Lake Norman Woman Magazine, also the host of our local morning show. And Bill Russell is the president of our Lake Norman Chamber. They are here with me. This show does not happen without them being a part of it, Gary. So if you hear an odd person speaking, it's not because I wanted them to, you understand? Just because they just popped in for no apparent reason. You understand that, don't you?
I got it. They're welcome to do it. Jump in anytime. I like hecklers, man. So
seriously, Gary, one of the things I really like about your book, in the book I'm speaking of, Become a Super Leader, your focus is mastering influential leadership. Describe what you mean by influential leadership, because it is a little bit different than, say, an old school view of leadership.
Yeah, old school. So what do we think of when we think of old school? We think of top-down leadership, authoritative leadership, not inclusive, not collaborative. It's like you do it or else, right? And so listen, I understand people have jobs, they have responsibilities, they have to do their job or they don't keep their jobs. But influential means the leader leads. People follow them. They stay in their jobs because they love working for this person. There have been Gallup polls out there that have looked at people over the last few years, and they found out that 80% of the people that leave their jobs don't leave because they didn't like the job or the pay. It was because they didn't like their leaders. So influential to me means you know how to motivate people, you inspire people, people follow you for the things that you're known for. They like to be with you because they're better off being with you than alone. So influential leadership is something that everyone can master. It's probably not something you're going to be born with. Just like Vince Lombardi said, leaders are made, not born. But influential leadership is something definitely that you can master if you work at it on a regular basis. If you develop the skill sets, you take care and trying to be the kind of leader that people like to work for. So I mean, it's a big package.
Right. So Gary, let me ask you a question, because I've heard you say that before, that leaders are something that can be learned, right? Not born. Can we as parents implement some things, in fact, that might start children down a process of leadership? Because I got to tell you something. Listen, I don't know if it's obstinate or not, but I never worked for anybody in my life. Whether I wanted it or chose it or not, I was going to lead myself an intentional life and the people around me that wanted to come work with me. I don't I don't know that I ever consider myself a leader, but if I was going to get where I wanted to go, I had to do that, right? I got to believe that had something to do with me growing up. Or can you talk any about that for parents that are out there listening, wondering what they're doing, if it's affecting their children or not?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, we're not everybody's a prodigy when they're born, right? Is yet another way to look at it. Tiger Woods was definitely a prodigy. From the moment he picked up a golf club, the guy knew how to get it in the hole. And not every person can do that. It takes a lifetime of developing the skills, and he kind of figured it out by the time he was a teenager. So, I'm a parent. I heard you guys talking about daughters and women, strong women. I grew up around strong women with my uh, three sisters and my mom. I also have four daughters and two sons, but I have four daughters who completely outnumbered me when I was, the first, I guess, 16 years of my life or my married life. So parents have the ability to influence their kids by their example, by the things they look at, by not limiting their kids, by not talking about limitations. I know a parent who loved her son, but she didn't think he was capable of being much. And I remember telling her, I said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "Am I looking at the same kid? Because this guy could do anything that I knew about, and he wanted to be an engineer, and his mom didn't think he could be one." So I think it's about the way you address it, the way you talk about it, the way you don't limit, don't set limitations on yourself. Don't be self doubting. As a parent, the world's the limit. I loved what the last co-host said. I'm trying. I just got on, so I don't remember her name. Is it Mamie? I'm
Well,
sorry.
well, now Gary, let me be clear.
Yeah.
Mamie is a strong woman, but she's mean.
Oh,
She's
yeah, I'm
mean.
tough. I'm tough. Don't.
She
You gotta be
doesn't look
careful.
mean. Okay.
Well,
You know what? Strong women are important in this life. My mother was the epitome of strength and humility. I don't know how she pulled it off, but she could relate to anyone, but nobody could stay up with this woman. And she was the kind of person that you would never want to disappoint. So I think that's really the definition of leadership and influence.
Gary, when you're talking about leadership, and I'll tell you that I've learned far more from my losses than I have my wins. But what's one lesson you learned the hard way that you wish somebody would have warned you about?
Going into business, I didn't realize there was a lot of politics, and
Mm.
I didn't realize there was so much people. There wasn't an issue of worrying about ethics. I didn't think there was, and when I got into it, I realized, okay, it's not just about hard work. You have to, play the political game. But I did learn, even though I lost some opportunities, and I wish I'd known this up front because maybe I'd approached it a little differently. That if somebody wants you to do something that's unethical, that's not it's not conducive with you know either legal or just plain ethics, things that you wouldn't want to be caught doing, that you should stand up for it. And at the beginning, I was a little bit quiet about some of the things I saw. And finally, I got into a position of a VP of sales for the first time, where I had the opportunity to push back on executives who wanted to do unethical things. For example, cook the books. I mean, have two separate books so they could get the funding they wanted to get. And I wouldn't play that game. And for example, I had a client that I had gotten ready who wanted to buy our software. We were a new upcoming technology, and but they wanted to have a discussion about our financing, our funding, how long we'd last, and my boss, who was the CEO at the time, said, "Well, we have to change the numbers a little bit." And I said, "What?" I'd never heard somebody say that before because I'd never been in a position like that. And he actually wanted to say, "Oh, we have to have numbers that will make them want to come with us." And I said, "Well, I'm out." So I made a decision right there, and I was willing to walk and lose my job. And later on, I just realized it was the kind of environment I didn't want to be in, so I actually left. But oh my goodness, thanks for that question. I mean, for me, it's standing up for what you believe in. even in
Yeah.
circles where you want to succeed, you have to stand up and really, be the person that is honorable.
And Gary, the guy that asked you that question is one of the best leaders I've ever met. He is managing over 1,000 small business owners. It's like herding cats. I don't know how he does it, and he's been doing it for over 20 something years. So
29.
yeah. So
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Gary, you talk in your book about 6 spheres of influence. Which one is sort of the most critical of all of them?
Joe, it's hard to pin that down, man. You put me in a corner. My books are progressive; they're step by step, and so it's hard to say, okay, if I have a 3-legged stool, which one should I take? Because every one of them make a difference to that stool. But if I have to pick one, I'll have to say. So I start off with perspective. God, anything you do, you have to have perspective so you can understand where you're going. But if there's one that really is critical, it has to be number 2, and that's accountability. So accountability is saying that I'll own the situation, that I will respect the responsibility of the things that I said I would do, and you can hold me to that. And so I think if without that, you can't get honor, you can't get respect, you can't get a reputation. People won't trust you. They won't give you the next phase, which is
Right.
developing relationships with highly influential people. You'll never get there. And the following after that is leadership. You'll never get there. You have to be accountable and on a basis of what people expect. They judge you for what you say you'll do. I mean, that's called integrity. And it all goes into one big box: honesty, integrity, accountability. And if you can't do that one right, if you're not willing to accept the responsibility for that one, I think you stop right there.
So, Gary, one of the things you do is help with sales training. Can you give me some? There's a lot of people, small business people listening that know the only way business grows is them selling something, knocking on a door, picking up a phone, right? What's give me a couple of mistakes that you see small business people or salespeople in a firm tend to make over and over again.
I mean, it's the old adage that salespeople, especially used car salespeople, etc. Just come in at you. They're regressive. That you're not sure that they're telling you the truth. So number one, have integrity right from the beginning. Be authentic about who you are and what you do, and that your product, it may not be everything the person wants, but don't lie about it. Look for the strengths, leverage the strengths, and the same thing about yourself. I think if you want people to like you, you have to give them something they want as well. So I've seen a lot of salespeople. I've managed thousands of salespeople, and I've been the CEO of a national networking company. So hundreds and hundreds of business owners, that look to me for advice. And I'll tell you that the ones that come in and they immediately ask for the sell, or they say, "Here's the deal, you can't turn it down because it's such a good deal," they're going to lose the sell. You have to go in with the attitude that I'm here to help you. I'm going to give first. So if you have the give first attitude, and people can see that, and there's no expectation if I help you that you have to help me back. Try that on for a while. Just put that on and and see how that works for you. I think as a salesperson, people will start to say, "Oh, this person isn't trying to sell me; they're trying to help me." So, good salespeople solve problems,
Right.
and they don't go in with an attitude of me first. It's always
And
me first.
Bill, now you see why I wanted him on the show.
Gary, Joe talked about this is largely our audience is small business people. So, what advice would you give the small business owner to increase visibility of his business or her business?
Well, listen, I've owned 12 businesses, and you number one have to accept that you're going to wear many hats. So some people go into business and say, "Oh, I'm going to hire all these people. Everybody will do their part." Not for about 2 or 3 years. I mean, you're going to handle about 50 to 75% of it, even if you have outside contractors, because you have to. I mean, you're really on the verge of failure from the very beginning when you're running a business.
That's the first time I've heard that. I love that statement. It's such a great statement.
I mean, so why do 80% fail? Because they don't prepare and they're not in the game all the way. Even if you don't know how to sell, you're going to take on the sales hat. You're going to do it. If you don't know the technical side, you're going to spend time learning about it. You're going to become the one person in the business that can do some have some ability to do every single part of the business so that you can inspire the people that work for you. That's really the bottom line.
So Gary, this is a selfish question, right? I don't know if you know that because we've only met each other a couple of times. I'm a small business broker. I help people buy and sell small businesses from about 5 million in gross sales on down. And I see the trends that are happening for the future of existing operations. More and more of them are needing some sort of skilled turnaround to be the buyer, right? There is a necessary change or need that needs to be happened when the purchaser buys this business. And I noticed you've done this many times. Can you talk a little bit about where they should start, what they should look at the possibility of choosing a business to turn around?
Yeah, so you're talking about the buyer. We're talking about buyers, right?
Yes.
So, I've been a buyer and I've been a seller 12 times. And then I've also been a co-founder of a business. So as a buyer, number one, first of all, you're a broker. You know that I have to go in and I have to show interest or they're not going to take me seriously. So I really don't just jump into something unless I genuinely have interest, unless I think I can actually make a difference in the business. So number one head mindset is that I don't do this, or I'm not even going to explore it unless I feel like I could make a difference in this business. The way you find out is by getting enough data so you can analyze it before you get involved in talking to a seller. The seller is going to want, the broker, you're probably not this kind of broker, but I've talked to a lot of brokers. They just want to put the two together and then they want to exit. I hate that. They put you together on a Zoom call and then they said, see you later. I'll come back at the end and we'll see how you did. The brokers I like are the ones that get involved, facilitate, and set up this meeting for success. And they also monitor it so that if something's going haywire, something's going south, that they can jump in and say, okay, let's see what's going on here and let's get it back on track. But the buyer, kind of a like-minded buyer, is going to say, okay, I need to know how to get enough information from here to really know what's going on in the business. It sounds interesting. It looks interesting. It looks like something I can impact. But number one, like I said before, I'm going to have to get enough data to analyze it, and I shouldn't really get into a discussion until I think I understand the business. I'm going to look at the website. I'm going to look at their product. I'm going to look at their reviews, and I'm going to ask for at least limited financials and a sim, some way to know what the business is all about. And then finally, I'd like to know I think the seller is selling the business. So now we're in a discussion. Here we are, and I think I'm going to be intelligent. I'm going to know where I can add value. I'm going to ask the right kind of questions. And I've hired thousands of salespeople, so it's not so different. You should know the person you're going to meet with, and you should be fully present when you're there.
So you just set my mind in a different direction. You've hired thousands of salespeople. What are you looking for? A couple of key points or skill sets for salespeople.
Number one, they have to be a performer. I'm not going to look at anybody that hasn't proven that they, at least on paper, that they were a performer.
So when you say performer, you mean in the industry that you're hiring within?
I'm talking about quotas. So I'm talking about, and I don't care if you're a small business or large business, you should give some kind of expectation to your salespeople what they should be achieving as far as revenues. If they're not producing revenues, they shouldn't be a salesperson. They can be a support person. They can be a technical person, but they shouldn't be in sales. And some people think, oh, this guy's great. He's honorable. He's trustworthy. Let's let him be our chief sales guy. And that's sometimes not a good decision.
Interesting.
So I'm in with salespeople. I'm looking for people that have this repetitive continuity of success. And they've got it time after time. They're hitting the quotas. They're going to club. That's what we used to call it.
Where does discipline fall in that?
That's very high. Discipline is just like integrity, because it is integrity.
You just stepped right where I want to go with the next question.
Okay.
Because last time we talked, you talked about an authentic influencer. Talk about that and how that sort of defines a real influential leader.
Okay, I'm going to say it this way. I think the bedrock, the foundation of influence is authenticity. I don't think you can be influential unless people know who you are, really understand what you provide, what your value is, what your reputation is. That's authenticity. You can't make it up. I've heard this saying, fake it till you make it. I hate it when people say that. I just don't think that's a good idea. I think you should not go into a situation where you can't add value. And you should reveal your value right up front. Say, hey, listen, there's lots of things I like to work at, lots of things I'm trying to get good at, but there is one thing that I am super good at. Call it my superpower if you want, but that's the one thing you can come to me. You can always know that I will give you lots of value. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to try to improve myself in other areas because I want to relate to everybody that works for me. But we all have to have that competency that we're known for.
Right.
And salespeople forget that sometimes.
Gary, we're running out of time. Gary Laney, the book that I absolutely adored was Become a Super Leader. Gary Laney. Gary, my friend, thank you so much for doing this. I really do appreciate it, buddy.
You are a man, a good man, brother.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.